Alright, hey, what's up Jeep family? My name's Chase and I have two Jeeps. My first one is a 1975 Jeep CJ5. We call this one Billy. And a 97 TJ that we call Doris. It has a 2002 Silverado engine. It's a 5.3, made it to a 4L60 out of a 96 Blazer NP233 transfer case. In the rear, it's got a Ford 9-inch with 31 spline alloy axles from Quick Performance. Yeah, it's an old Ford 9-inch. I snapped the axle shaft the first time I went out with it up on Drummond Island, and there's a video that I'm going to link right here on Trail Expeditions page. The front axle is a high pinion Jeep Cherokee axle. It's from a 99, or what I was told was a 99 Jeep Cherokee high pinion Dana 30. I sleeved the shafts with a Iron Rock off-road sleeves. There's inner gussets for the inner C's. It has the WJ high steer knuckle, little lunchbox, Aussie locker, Spartan locker. Then I wanted to give my wife a Jeep that she could drive, that was easier to drive than the old CJ that we call Billy. So it started out as a 1980 CJ7. It was a Jeep that I drove by sitting in somebody's yard for years growing up, just watching it kind of rot away, and it came up for sale on one of the Jeep pages that I follow, and went out there and picked it up one winter. It was just the frame and a fiberglass tub. I had plans to put a V8 in it with an automatic for my wife. The CJ7 is a little bit bigger, a little bit more comfortable. So I thought that would be a great start for a build for kind of a family wheeler or something that my wife could drive. I bought a rebuilt 350 that was bored out with mild cam from a friend who was going to use it for a rock crawler project. The motor was out of a 75 Camaro, had all the parts numbers, it had all the matching intake manifolds and heads, and it also came with a 700 R4 that I was going to just use together and have a 4-speed overdrive, easy to drive. So I started tearing that Jeep down, and I took the body off. It had a bunch of cracks in it that needed to be repaired. It was an old fiberglass body. When I took the body off of the frame just disintegrated. So I spent a winter rebuilding a frame from 3x4 tube, where I'd cut a pie wedge out and then bend it up together. I built 2 frame rails side by side in my barn. I bought a welder so I could do this project, taught myself how to weld. So I had a frame that I was going to use, and I thought, this frame is going to be brand new. I'm learning how to do steel welding and repair. So I didn't really want to tackle all the stress cracks in the fiberglass body. So I put that up on Craigslist, sold that within a day. And I picked up a TJ tub that needed floorboards. Replaced those, had the tub all repaired and solid, and started looking for other body panels. I bought a grill and a cowl from a kid who was just parting out a TJ. And for only a couple $100 more than what I was buying those panels for, he said just take the whole Jeep. So my friend Scott and I, we flat towed the Jeep home, and then I parted that Jeep out. It was a 97 TJ manual transmission, 4-liter, but the frame was shot, and it had sat for a couple of years. Parted it out. I made a bunch of money on that, which kind of funded turning this Jeep into what it is. I cut the frame of that in half, and I used the back half of the frame that I had built. So I didn't want to deal with any suspension, steering stuff, so I used the TJ front half, grafted them together with a frame channel repair kit. Yeah, I kind of grafted it together and realized, if I'm going to have a TJ body, TJ front suspension, I might as well fuel inject this thing and kind of bring it into the 21st century a little bit more. So I sold the 350 about a week after I finished the floorboards in that TJ. A family friend offered to sell me a TJ tub that they had sitting in their backyard that had been up from Florida. So it was a rust-free tub, fully intact floorboards. It had been in a rear end accident, so the back corners were a little bent. So I did that. I jumped on that, brought that home, immediately put the tub up that I fixed the floorboards in. A kid from the other side of the state came and bought that right away. So at this point it has been through 4 different tubs, and this was all over 2 years. I then had to go from coils up front and then figure out what kind of rear suspension I was going to do. And it then just kind of snowballed. I had some leaf springs that I was going to do, then I decided, might as well stretch it as I'm building this rear suspension. So I stretched the rear 7 inches, took the gas tank out, put the fuel cell in the trunk bed, and I sunk that in so that I still have some cargo space. That part's still kind of a work in progress. I then couldn't figure out leaf spring geometry. It just seemed foreign. There weren't any good ways to learn that on. So I started looking into coil sprung rear end. I had bought a lift kit for a TJ. For the front, 4 inches about where I wanted to sit. And then I realized I didn't have enough room for coil springs the way I built the frame. The TJs have a funky curve in the back axle that they shove a coil spring in, and I did not do that because I was building off of a CJ rear frame. So I threw around the idea of leaf springs and then kind of just settled on coilovers. I watched Muddy Beard's 4x4 and Dirt Lifestyle Nate and just watched them over and over and over, and designed my rear suspension where 7 inches of stretch and my gas tank and all kind of cleared. I had good numbers. So after snapping the axle in the first outing, I just decided that I needed to go bigger. I've got the engine. 35s are the new 31s. So I kind of made the decision that I was going to put 1-tons on it at some point. I happened upon a set of F350 axles for incredibly cheap. So I got a front and rear, got a front Dana 60 and a Sterling 10.5 out of a 2002 Super Duty. The axles that are on the TJ are going to go to the CJ, and the 1-tons are going to go on the TJ. I've got 513 gears. The rims that I have, I'm going to do weld on bead locks, and whatever 40's I can get for cheap. I hope to have a lot of fun in it, and I hope to make a lot of videos. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, keep the rubber side down.